Hello, it's a Sinister Gambino here with a new video. In this video, I'm going to be making a review and guide on Invade and Persuade Tank. So its price is $2,275,000 normally, or if you were lucky enough to get on Christmas Day, of course, and whatnot, you would have got it for free on that day. As for the customizations, they take place in the Los Santos custom, so it means you don't even have to buy a property for this vehicle, which is definitely pretty good, I would say. And for liveries, it has someone to select like gun running liveries, it seems, and that's it, which is quite lame. And then it has respray, just a primary color, I think. And then for weapons, it has a flamethrower, which is probably pretty similar to the Cerberus, of course. I'll kind of go into some details on that one. It has a stock weapon, the machine guns, of course. It has the rocket launcher, and then the plasma cannon. As for the performance of the Invade and Persuade Tank, the usual source that I use when it comes to these reviews has not tested the lap time or top speed, at least on the actual channel. And the reason probably being is because you typically can't properly test this vehicle in an actual race, so that's probably why. But if it's anything like the RC Bandito, it's probably going to be last place for lap time and top speed for the military class. Though unlike the off-road class, when it came to the RC Bandito, there's a lot of slow vehicles in this military class, of course, so the results could be surprising, but it's probably just quite simply last place in lap time and top speed. And also, I'm pretty sure you can increase your speed by jumping with the jump boost, however I'm considering without the jump boost, of course. Onto the explosive resistance test. Luckily, I was actually able to find a good way to pull this off solo. I just ran into these gas canisters here in Paleto Bay. And then one time there's an extra vehicle that spawned there, so I did make sure it was 5 explosives, because that's the normal amount it takes to destroy a Invade and Persuade Tank, of course, with the RPG and the homing launcher. I'm pretty sure both of those do take 5 explosives to destroy it, so it will survive 4 and then it will blow up on the 5th. And then this will also be a good time to show off a couple new mechanics with the RC vehicles. I'm pretty sure both of these are also for the RC Bandito that were not initially introduced with the DLC for the Diamond Casino Heist, or even when the RC Tank or Invade and Persuade Tank first came out. And that is, when you die, it counts as being wasted. There's apparently a couple ways to work around that as well. I'll be linking Gilly Master's video, credit to him, of course. That if you pause or hold down on the D-pad, right when you're about to die, it won't count as a kill. And then also, you don't spawn right where you spawned it, RC vehicles anymore. You spawn right next to where you died, or at least close to where you died. Onto a couple of the smaller things with this vehicle, it has a 2-minute cooldown compared to the RC Bandito's 1-minute cooldown, which is also equivalent to vehicles from the mechanic, aside for personal aircrafts, which are 5 minutes. And also, I believe I forgot to mention, but I'm pretty sure normally exiting out of this vehicle, unless you're at really low health with it, you'll spawn typical how it used to work. But yeah, I'll be going on to the pros and cons list and maybe some other small things throughout. Alright, on to talking about the weaponry of the vehicle. I'll start off with the stock cannon, which is one of the two that I am not showing off on this review and guide video, of course, since obviously I had a lot of use with it when I first got it on a stream I did. So if you want to see gameplay of me personally using the machine gun on it, go to my stream of December 24th or 25th. But yeah, the machine gun that it starts with, obviously, it's not going to be a very good weapon at all, I would say. Its rate of fire, of course, is worse than the plasma cannon, which is essentially just an upgraded version of the stock machine gun anyways. There's absolutely no reason that you should stay on the stock gun, as far as my knowledge goes. And if I recall from watching the professional as well, it takes 14 shots to a player's body in order to kill. So yeah, really in no circumstance at all, it's not gonna be very good. But yeah, Onto the flamethrower. That is actually good for NPCs, and it's also good against unarmored vehicles. So it's definitely better than the rest of the weapons in some cases. However, the flamethrower would definitely have the shortest range between the 4 different weapons. Yeah, aside for that, I don't really feel like the flamethrower is really that good. And yeah, the flamethrower probably would not be good on like personal vehicles or armored vehicles. Even like personal like supercars of people's probably won't even be that good on either, I would imagine. So that basically sums up the flamethrower. And honestly, the Cerberus, I believe, is kind of forced to have the flamethrower, the Cerberus from the Arena Wars DLC. So it's honestly much more preferred to get a flamethrower on the Cerberus rather than the Invade and Persuade Tank, since there's definitely better options than the flamethrower in my personal opinion as well. And then I'll talk about the RPG once I get into the pros and cons list. Eventually, at some point, when getting the pros and cons list, I will. But yeah, starting off with my first pro, it's modified in Los Santos Customs, which also will go into my second pro as well. But because it's modified into Los Santos Customs, there's no like upgrade when it comes to a property that you need to purchase, so that's definitely very nice. Once you buy the vehicle right out the gate, you can basically customize it. And then yeah, going into the second pro, it does not require a property. And the property it would require, if it were of course to require a property, would most definitely be the arcade, considering it also came out in the Diamond Casino Heist DLC, of course. Third pro I have is one from the RC Bandito review as well. However, I changed the wording of it slightly because it's no longer as much of the case anymore. But I put it is an okay trolling vehicle and it's decent against tryhards. I used like better, stronger wording, I would say, when the RC Bandito review. Reason being, of course, is it used to not count as a kill at all, like no matter how you got killed in the RC vehicles. Used to also be like that with the tank, but of course through background updates, Rockstar changed that, and now pretty much any way you die is going to count as a kill. However, I believe I mentioned, of course, before that there's a couple ways to mitigate that. You can, of course, pause when you're about to get killed, and then you can like unpause at some point after you get killed. Or you can hold down as well on the D-pad, of course, on whatever you're playing, or whatever that would also be on PC. So yeah, it's no longer really as good of a trolling vehicle, and no longer really as decent against tryhards. Also, of course, there's probably a lot of tryhards who just do a like RPG to their feet, of course. So if you have a fresh Invade and Persuade Tank, obviously it's going to be really good in that regard when it comes to dealing with tryhards. Fourth pro it has is it has a vertical jump, actually. And I didn't actually put this one on my pro and con list, but I believe I also heard it's a better jump than on the RC Bandito, so that's something about it as well. So yeah, and then the jump as well, you don't have to purchase the jump, which actually goes into my next pro, where it comes with vertical jump. So unlike the RC Bandito, you don't purchase the jump at all, it actually comes with it. And then I'm going to break away from the pros and cons list right now, and I'm going to mention the rocket launcher. I believe every single bit of gameplay with the rocket launcher I ended up showing off. But yeah, I would have recommended the rocket launcher. I believe I did when I did my live stream when I got the Invade and Persuade Tank, that the rocket launcher would be the better option. Though obviously at that point I didn't even watch the professionals review, because I probably did that, of course, like before that was even out. So I didn't know how good the plasma cannon was at that time. But yeah, the rocket launcher is mainly only good at disorienting NPCs and also players. I believe if you do get a direct hit on a player in the chest, it will kill them, at least if they don't wear armor or something like that. But for the most part, it's going to take like 2 hits probably to kill a player, maybe even more, because its rocket launcher is not very good. And then also with the rocket launcher, it takes 2 hits to destroy civilian vehicles, which obviously means much worse for player vehicles. I mean, having 100% armor on your vehicles will probably make it take at least 3 to destroy it, like supercar or whatever people want to put their 100% armor on, of course. And then obviously vehicles like Insurgent and whatnot that are armored, it's going to take a fuck ton of rocket launcher hits just to destroy one, I'm certain of it, so rocket launcher is really not a good option either, I would say. The satellite field, a plasma cannon is kind of the only good option, I would say, for weaponry on the Invade and Persuade Tank. However, I'll be going right back into my pros and cons list, and I'll be mentioning that later. But yeah, getting back into it, the pros and cons list, it's instantly spawned via the interaction menu. Obviously, it works just like the RC Bandito, since it's also a RC vehicle. But obviously, that is a pro to it, so I wanted to mention it. Also, I believe I came up with 22 pros. I don't think I mentioned that, but 2 involve like glitches, so I don't really count those 2. So I have 20 pros, which I believe is 1 less than RC Bandito review that I ended up doing. But yeah, next pro is that it makes you disappear, just like the RC Bandito. So obviously when you use the RC vehicle, your character's not just like standing with like a remote control somewhere where someone can just kill you or something like that while you use the tank on the side, of course. You literally pretty much transform into the tank. And then next pro I have is it's infinitely off radar. Once again, it's like the RC Bandito, which is pretty good, of course, when you don't want to be bothered by other players in public lobbies and whatnot. Next pro I have is it brings another okay counter to the orbital cannon. This is another one that I had in my RC Bandito review. However, that's been nerfed as well. So just like player kills, orbital cannon kills also count against you now with like background updates that happened. And by the way, all the background updates with the Invade and Persuade Tank, I'm pretty sure also impact the RC Bandito. But yeah, once again, you can like pause the game or like hold down on the D-pad at the like proper moment if you're like expecting to get hit by the orbital cannon, and then you won't get that counted against you. Pretty sure those are the only couple ways you can work around that. But yeah, that's it for that pro. And then next pro is it has great bullet and explosive resistance. As I showed off before, the explosive resistance was 5 like explosions. I think it's one of the vehicles where it doesn't matter if it's with a homing launcher or a rocket launcher. And also, I'm not too sure, but I think the homing launcher, it might not be able to lock on to the Invade and Persuade Tank. Though I'm not sure, so I didn't put it in my pro and con list. But it's a possibility that the homing launcher does not lock onto this, because I think that's the thing with the RC Bandito. I'm not sure on this vehicle though. But either way, whether you use a homing launcher, RPG, grenades, sticky bombs, whatever, it should take 5 to explode the vehicle. So it will survive 4 before blowing up on the 5th. And once again, the bullet resistance would be pretty good as well. Probably again slightly better than the RC Bandito, which I think dies on the 3rd explosive or something like that. It probably has slightly better explosive resistance, or maybe the same even as the RC Bandito. Once again, not entirely too sure. But yeah, before I go into this clip here, the plasma cannon has very great range, very great rate of fire, and basically with those couple things, you really don't need anything else for it to be very good. So that's why I recommend the plasma cannon for sure. I definitely think it's the only like very viable option. If not that, then yes, I would recommend the rocket launcher after that. And on screen right now, I'm showing off a weird glitch in the game where you can actually open the interaction menu with the Invade and Persuade Tank, and it should also work as well with the RC Bandito. So yes, believe it or not, you can actually do like VIP work and stuff like that with this. It's still going to be very limited in terms of what I can do, which I'll be going to later, of course. But yeah, it can actually do VIP work. And I'll kind of go into details as well, like which ones are good and which ones aren't. Though I think I'll save that more towards the end, because I really want to get into my pros and cons list again, which I will now. But yeah, next pro I have is it has no range restrictions, just like the RC Bandito, and then also the new like nano drone as well with the Diamond Casino Heist DLC. So you can drive it anywhere on the map, and you won't be limited in any capacity. It's not like the terabyte drone or whatever, where you have a limited like range dependent on where the terabyte is. Next pro is it can be a slight alternative to passive mode. And of course the reason is because you can't actually necessarily be killed until like the 5th explosive and whatnot, like I mentioned. That ends up hitting the vehicle. So it's really hard to die in the vehicle, even though yes, like I mentioned, background updates allow you to now die in the RC vehicles when that wasn't originally the case. Even when this vehicle first released, it didn't. They just did some like background updates sometime after its release. And then next pro I have is it has infinite ammo weaponry. This of course is a very big pro, I would say, compared to the RC Bandito, which was limited to free proximity mines, I believe. And then it also had the detonation feature, but of course that counts as like basically being a suicide bomber. And then once you're out of your like proximity mines and you don't want to like detonate yourself, what you technically could do after that was run people over. But back in the original release of RC Bandito with the Arena War DLC, it wasn't good at running over things. But I think that's been changed since the Diamond Casino Resort DLC. So yeah, having infinite ammo weaponry with this definitely makes it much more viable for getting kills than with the RC Bandito. So that's the biggest thing I would say that's better with this than the RC Bandito, is it can actually kill people. Because it's very difficult to do that with RC Bandito, at least in its initial DLC, until like the ramming power was updated for the sakes of time trials. Is probably the reason why. Once again, that's for RC Bandito there, and for a comparison with the tank. And then next pro I have is it can kill many players, unlike RC Bandito. So yeah, I kind of went into that one when explaining my reason before putting the infinite ammo weaponry on the pros list. And so I went into pretty good details there, so I'll just go on to the next one. And it was free on Christmas Day 2019, aka the first day that the vehicle actually came out. So if you logged in on the first day this vehicle came out, you actually got this vehicle for free pretty much. And if for some reason you still haven't claimed your like free vehicle purchase, but you did log in on that day for some reason, it should still be free, I would think, since I think it lasts until you actually utilize it. Though I'm not entirely sure on that. But yeah. Now I'll kind of be going into the weaponry again on the pros. It's kind of just restating what I mentioned before, but for the sake of the pro and con list, I'm still going to mention it. Just probably won't go into much details with them. But yeah, next pro I put has a flamethrower. Already went into details of that. And then I also put it has a plasma cannon, which I believe makes it the one like vehicle not from the Arena Wars DLC to have a plasma cannon, which is kind of a unique thing for this. But yeah. Next thing I put is flamethrower is good for NPCs and unarmored vehicles. Already explained that one. So next one is rocket launcher is good at disorienting people. Already explained that one. Next pro it has is plasma cannon's great range and rate of fire. So I already explained that one as well. And then the last two pros I have for this vehicle is it can have double the armor via glitch. And I believe the way you can tell if someone has double armor on their like Invade and Persuade tank is it apparently will not have barrels on the back. And also, I will mention I'm not sure exactly how that glitch works. I think I just heard about it. Of course, if I find out again like where I heard about the like glitch with the Invade and Persuade tank where you can get double the armor, which I believe it means it can take 8 like RPGs and it dies on the 9th. So you don't get to survive 9 and then blow up on the 10th. You survive 8 and blow up on the 9th, I'm pretty sure from what I've heard. But yeah, I believe I heard of that one on Twitter from like Classic or something like that. Some person that's like named after a vehicle brand or something like that in the game. So of course if I find out where I found that, I will link that in the description. But I'm not going to explain how to do that glitch, and honestly I don't even know. I haven't even looked into it really. And I don't even think in the comments there that was mentioned either. And then the last pro I have is it can be used in VIP work via a glitch. And it's a weird glitch as well. I'm pretty sure Master made a video on that, so I will be linking that as well. In addition to a couple other vehicle videos he actually made on the Invade and Persuade tank. So I'll be linking Master quite a couple times probably. And what I did, of course, was I was simply driving over like a dock in the Vespucci Beach area. And apparently, like depending on how you drive on it, it seems it enables your interaction menu randomly. Not really sure if you can do it outside of that, like one very particular area. But once again, it is a very weird glitch. Now, as I promised, I will go into some details on which ones would be good and which ones wouldn't. Obviously, as you can see in the gameplay here, it's not really doing a good job at all, I would say, when it comes to doing this VIP work. I decided to do Headhunter as a test here, which it's decent at that one. It just won't be able to kill all 4 targets, most definitely not. Because it's too slow, for sure, for catching up for the cars. So basically, you're essentially going to be limited to killing the, like, 2 stationary ones. So yeah, we'll be good against 2 of the targets, the stationary ones. So we'll be able to do Headhunter, like, half of the way. And the way Headhunter works is you get paid a certain amount, like, per person you kill. So you do get partial money for doing that. So that is kind of a good option. However, there are better options, but I think there were ones that I can't do unless there's like other players in the lobby. And I believe that would be ones like executive search. Basically ones where you have to like find someone on the map. Executive search, it would obviously be pretty good on it, as long as it keeps its like off the radar, which I don't know. Technically, since you're glitching the vehicle, it might like glitch out and it might show you on the radar as the Invade and Persuade tank. I don't know, I didn't test on there, but if someone wants to do that and verify that and see if it's actually a good option for executive search, then yeah, that would be good. Yeah, basically modes where you have to search for players, it would be good to like glitch to this. But yeah, aside for that, there's not really any sort of way that you can make money with this vehicle. So sadly, you pretty much have to glitch to make money using this vehicle, which is kind of sad, honestly. Wish they gave some kind of money opportunity for this. But yeah, the cons is it's expensive for what you get. Like I mentioned, you're not really going to be able to make money with this vehicle. It's mainly a vehicle purely for PvP. So if you're not big in PvP, honestly, I would highly recommend just skipping on this vehicle. Next con I have is it has no lids. I get it, it's the Invade and Persuade tank, so yes, I do get it. I just wish it was just simply called RC tank or something. Like maybe have the Invade and Persuade tank as like a lid option. Because they could have brought back They could have brought back like the Tiger tank as a like lit option from like San Andreas. Or hell, they could have even done like miniature versions of like the Rhino and the Conjali that are like already in the game. Then again, to be fair, it probably would kind of require like different weaponry maybe for each of the different variants for it to really make sense. So I guess I can kind of see why they just went with an Invade and Persuade Tank. It's just a shame that it doesn't have the option to turn into the RC Tiger from like San Andreas, of course, because yeah, that was one that didn't really get any utilization at all. I think the RC Tiger in San Andreas was purely limited to some of the like RC missions you did for that 0 person. I don't think you actually got to control the RC Tiger. So it would have been cool to finally be able to control the RC Tiger. Not to mention, I don't think even if you can control it, if like there's mods for controlling the RC Tiger for any reason, I don't even think in those like mods or anything that you can technically like use any sort of like weapon. So yeah, it would have been cool to finally have a controllable and weaponized like RC Tiger from like San Andreas, because I don't really think it had any sort of utilization whatsoever. So the lit idea I feel could have went a lot better than just having an Invade and Persuade Tank option. Could have just been a lit instead, I feel. Which is why I put that as a con. Though again, I do understand it, so I might not have that one impact the rating at all. But yeah, third con I have is it has no mines. Like yeah, if they put regular proximity mines on it, it would probably be a problem, like the vehicle ones from like the gun running update. But they could have done the EMP and like kinetic mines again, like with the RC Bandito. Still have like the free limit or up the limit to 5 or something. And it wouldn't even have been all that bad. Like, yeah, you'll be able to use those every time you respawn them, but it wouldn't have been overpowered or anything if they still limited it to the like same vehicle mines the RC Bandito has. It's really a missed opportunity in my opinion, not having any kind of proximity mine, even though like not very like necessarily good ones from the like Arena War DLC. Next con I have is it has terrible livery variety. Like, come on, there's only 10 like gun running liveries. How many vehicles in this game even have the gun running liveries? Those vehicle liveries from the gun running update are highly like overused. And not to mention, because they use some of the gun running liveries, when you technically have to do research for it for that vehicle, just to be able to put liveries on it. Though to be fair, I don't know if the like thing would carry over where you would have to do the research for the liveries for vehicles that come out after that use those same gun running liveries. So yeah, in a sense, that's actually pretty cool that there's kind of like a reason to use your bunker if you haven't to unlocking certain liveries for the vehicle. At the same time, those are like highly overused liveries in this game. And in my opinion, they're not very good ones either. They didn't even give it all the gun running livery options. They only gave it like 10 as well. Like, come on, Rockstar. Next con I has is it has no legitimate money making opportunities. Like I'm showing off here, and like I showed off in the other one. For the second time around of this clip, I decided to exclude the part of how to do the glitch, because I don't really like support glitching in the game that much. I'm just showing it off, of course, because it really sucks that there's not much of a way to make money. And also, as this is on right now, I'll add a con right now. This isn't one I really put on my list, but as you can see, it's kind of hard to actually get up slopes and stuff like that with this vehicle. I think even RC Bandito does better at that than the Invade and Persuade Tank, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, sadly you will have to glitch, I believe, in order to even make money. So if you don't glitch the way I showed in the first time around of this clip, I don't think you can even make money at all in this vehicle. Next con I have is it has weird mission-related restrictions unless the glitch is performed. It's almost the exact same, like, con from before, of course. I'm just saying, like, the annoying restrictions not being able to, like, do much of anything with this vehicle is pretty disappointing. especially considering they didn't add any like new money opportunities. Like, yeah, for this DLC, there's still drip feeds, so it's entirely possible, or even with the next DLC, if there's another one, of course, they can easily add a money-making opportunity later on, which of course would improve my opinion on this vehicle. But for now, you can't really make any sort of money with this vehicle unless you glitch the interaction menu to let it work in your Invade and Persuade Tank. And then next con I have is it's terrible at jumping rooftops. And before I go into that one, going back to the previous one, at least RC Bandito had ways to make money even when it first came out with the RC Bandito races, or at least not as long as with the Invade and Persuade Tank it had to wait to get money opportunities. And then with Diamond Casino Resort DLC, they even added the time trials, I'm pretty sure. So in the previous DLC. But yeah, now we're going to the next con. It's terrible at jumping rooftops, but I might have mentioned before, but the Invade and Persuade Tank has a better jump actually than RC Bandito, slightly. So pretty small roofs you'll probably be able to get on top of, but obviously still you won't really be able to get up a lot of rooftops. Which, yeah, it's logical. Not every single con I put on this list is going to impact its rating, obviously. But if it even remotely doesn't make the vehicle good, I'm going to bring it up, whether it impacts it or not. Since I'm trying to have as many pros and cons as I can to get the best opinion, to give the best opinion I can on the vehicle. Next con I have is the flag cannot be customized. Now, I don't know if there's a very particular reason for why you can't customize the flag. I don't know if the Invade and Persuade Tank in like every single game, like in every single region this game is in, I don't know if this Invade and Persuade Tank has the American flag, or if it kind of changes depending on like the version of the game you play, depending on your like location and region. But yeah, it would have been cool to have customization like the Marshall and like the Dukes. I believe those are like the two other vehicles where you can actually change the flag. That would have been a pretty cool option, even if that's not a thing in like the arcade game or whatever. I think that would have still been a really cool option with the lackluster like customization it has already. Which, yeah, obviously there's pros to the lackluster customization, with it already technically having its maximum armor unless you glitch, of course, like I mentioned earlier. And you also don't have to buy the jump, and then like you can't increase the speed at all, so it's technically already as fast as it can get, unlike the RC Bandito. But yeah, next customization I have is it cannot aim very upwards. As you could see when I had my rocket launcher, when I like did a video thing for this review, of course, for the rocket launcher, I couldn't even really hit the helicopters all that well. Same probably it was for the plasma cannon. And then the opposite of that for the next con is it cannot aim very downwards at all. I don't even think you can really maneuver the vehicle to really aim that much downwards either. Next con I have is the machine gun has terrible rate of fire. I already went details on that earlier. And then next con I have is flamethrower and rocket launcher have short range. Already went to that one as well, just restating for the purpose of the pros and cons list. Next con is rocket launcher takes 2 hits to destroy civilian vehicles. Once again I did that. And yeah, civilian vehicles are basically just going to run away from you after the first hit, and because of the terrible range of the rocket launcher, it's not going to be able to do much of anything against civilian vehicles even. Unless it's like police. That's probably the only thing I could think of. And then, last con I have is it no longer prevents guaranteed dying. Also applies to the RC Bandito, put in parentheses as well. As I mentioned before, Rockstar has done background updates which changes the way these vehicles work. Now you can obviously die in them, but like I mentioned before, there's 2 ways to like still make the deaths you get not count against you. And that's to pause the game or to hold down. And you keep doing that until like you're basically killed, and then the person who kills you won't get a kill. And yeah, that's pretty PvP related stuff, so it's not like everyone break the game or anything mentioning that. But yeah, that was it for this vehicle review and guide, of course, for the Invade and Persuade Tank. Hope you enjoyed.